Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright, Spirit of Justice, where last episode Phoenix found out about the Defense Culpability Act at last, now learning that he would suffer the same fate if Ur'Gaid was to be found guilty. That fate has been rigged to be the death penalty. With the Divination Seance now performed, we'll look to maybe poke a hole in it as we continue on despite the great risk to his life. Not a wise move, Traveller. Not wise at all. You should have taken the chance I offered to save your life. But you have made your choice. The Defense Culpability Act will be applied in this case. And with this verdict, you'll both soon be parting with your heads. I'd have thought my embassy would come out. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the hostile crowd. What the hell? Wow, that's civilized. The souls of the departed speak only the truth, and I but give their messages a voice. If you think my insights contain falsehood, I challenge you to prove it. Then, of course, what's one person civilized is different cultures, not. That's how it is. Rayfa's insight. Let's hear more. Well, let's see how we're going to tackle this. The accused swung whatever he was holding down on the victim's head, so it comes out as a testimony, does it? With the pain, the victim's vision went dark. This is when he lost his life. Still, I can't believe it. A murder after the morning dance of devotion? These are the victim's experiences just before his death. As the victim's final memories, we can assume they aren't lies. So how do I break this down? Allow me to relieve you of your ignorance, defense. Did you notice the words that appeared in the seance vision? Yes. Then to think of it, I did see words like Song of Ceremony and Incense. The victim's final memories are not limited to sight alone. Sight, smell, taste, sound, touch, all is laid bare in the pool of souls. So what Mr. Roll experienced with his 5 senses appears in the vision as words, right? Precisely. And by examining these sensations, we can perceive the victim's final moments with unparalleled clarity. Works for me. I can use all the extra information I can get. Now, to find a contradiction between her insights and the seance vision. Your benevolence, I ask that you please show me the seance vision again. Very well. Will she have to perform the dance every time? Oh, maybe not. So we've got incense looking at the bag. Song of Ceremony, boy's voice. Like a yell with the boy's voice and the pain when he blacked out. So he blacked out. He blacked out before he was hit. That's a bit odd. Wait a minute. Her benevolence said after the morning dance of devotion earlier, didn't she? Isn't there something off about that? Yes, there is. Ooh, okay. Interesting screens. I'll use these arrows to select the insight I think is off. Okay. With the pain, the victim's vision went dark. This is when he lost his life. Still, I can't believe it. A murder after the morning dance of devotion. Yes, this is the insight that sounded funny. Now, just carefully compare this insight with the seance vision. If I notice a sensation that seems contradictory, I'll tap select, which is just X. Okay, then. So I think it's this one. This is it. This is the part of the vision that contradicts the insight. Now, I just select the sensation I think is inconsistent and then present X it. Sure, I will. I'm guessing it's the sound, because if it was after the stuff, why would the Song of Ceremony be playing? In fact, it was placed, if I remember an earlier bit of text, well, not earlier, wasn't that too long ago, it was in between 2 different dances of devotion, wasn't it? And morning and a later one. So this shouldn't be playing, if I'm right. If I'm right.
Objection!
Gotta work out our new systems after all. Wait just a moment. Yes? What is it, barbed head? You're saying the incident occurred after the morning dance of devotion, right? That's right. What of it? Then isn't it strange that Mr. Roll could still hear the song of ceremony?
Oh my! You're absolutely right!
Is that all that troubles you? Huh? What the victim heard was just a practice run of the song of ceremony. Practice run? What are you talking about? Mr. Payne, if you would. Certainly. Allow me to explain. The incident occurred in the interval between the morning and afternoon dances, yes. During that time, the singers were practicing in the performance hall. Precisely. I was there as well, so I can corroborate this statement.
I see. What the victim heard was that practice session.
Ah, there goes my contradiction. Okay, so they were practicing in this performance hall. That must be the room where Albie and I saw her benevolence dancing.
However, Mr. Payne, I admit one detail troubles me.
Ask away, your majesty.
It's a big temple. The performance hall and treasure room are quite far from each other. Could the song really be heard all the way in the treasure room?
He's right. It is a very big temple. Well, how about it, Mr. Payne? Your Majesty, have you forgotten? There are speakers in every room of Temple, including the treasure room.
Oh, that's right.
Speakers? For what purpose? Are you silliest, Mr. Wright? They're to broadcast the sacred music of the performance hall throughout the temple. That's why the victim could hear the song of ceremony in the seance vision. It was the practice run going on in the performance hall, heard over the speakers.
Thank you for your explanation, your benevolence. That makes perfect sense, even to a feeble-minded old man like me.
Think nothing of it.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, could you please alter your insights for us?
Very well. Wait, she can do that? As in the text. Okay, that's fine. I was like, if she alters the vision, then she controls the vision entirely. It's not the dead person. I was a bit worried about that. So now she's changed what her retelling, or her kind of like, well, the way she sees it. The song of ceremony the victim heard was of a practice run through the temple speakers. I think I'm getting the hang of this. If I point out an inconsistency, she'll update her insights accordingly. So if I keep pointing things out, maybe I can knock all of her insights out after all. I better find another inconsistency, no matter how small. Okay, what am I going for now? It's a bit hard to focus on the insights with the seance vision going. I'll try using the pause button, L, to temporarily stop the vision. Okay, when do you want me to do it? Oh, here, okay. I can do it anytime. There, I pause the vision. I think I can touch the flashing panels Y and A, or just Y and A to go back and forth. Okay, do jump to different parts of the vision. I'll try moving the Matama mark to the flashing red panel there. I actually have to wait for them to go away. Okay, now I know how to get around in seance visions. It's time to find inconsistencies between the insights and the visions. Wait, so I have to figure out between the text and then the panel? That's a bit hard, isn't it? Alright, well, so I can look at that while that's running. Okay, well, there we go. Found something straight away. Pause. With the pain, the victim's vision went dark. This is when he lost his life. So what we're seeing right now as part of the vision is something that we noticed that was a bit weird earlier. This is before the hit. So it's with the pain. So what I should be presenting to here is probably the fifth part when it brings up the pain. Because he lost his vision before then. Lost the vision. In fact, there's no pain on this bit. This is the bit when he lost his vision. This is when he lost his life. Okay. We're good. So we did notice that. I was starting to think, by the way, in between this and then, me saying that before, or me seeing that maybe he just closed his eyes because he's going to get hit, because people do, you know. That's a normal thing. But hopefully that doesn't come back for me as the reply statement, really. Where do I get the pain bit? There we go. Oh, so I actually have to play it through a bit? Okay, so even when I go to different tabs, there's still time within each tab. So that's the thing. With the pain, the victim's vision went dark. This is when he lost his life. I mean, he lost his vision before then. Do I present to pain specifically to say that this is wrong? I guess, oh, no, wait, yeah, I have to. Because I can't really just click on the darkness, can I? I can't click on Song of Ceremony or Incense because that's not the point I wish to make. So with this statement, I'd have to click on pain as a contradictory thing because it wasn't that which his vision went dark. Yeah, yada yada. You know, you get what I'm getting at. So I'd say it's this and pain. Sure.
Objection!
This is me stabbing in the dark now a little bit. You're saying the victim's field of vision went dark right after he was struck, correct? Of course, as anyone with eyes can see. Well, pardon me, but I must disagree. What? Your benevolence, please take another look at the exact moment the victim felt pain. Oh. Everything goes black, and then, only after that, the victim feels pain. Inconceivable! This places the order of events at odds with what you say happened. My word!
Polkunka! Your benevolence! What is the meaning of this?
I cannot be wrong. My insights are beyond fallacy.
If what the defense says is true, this is a very grave matter indeed. Please forgive me, your benevolence, but I'm afraid this contradiction is something we simply can't ignore.
Now, let's not be too hasty, your majesty. I think I can clear this up.
You have something to add, Mr. Payne?
1,000 apologies. It seems the prosecution has failed to make one tiny thing clear.
And that would be?
On the day of the incident, there was a power outage, a blackout in one part of the temple. And as I recall, the crime scene was in that sector. The power outage must be why the victim's field of vision went dark. I apologize for neglecting to tell the court this detail. I'm afraid it slipped my mind.
Or rather, you knew all along and are only letting it slip now that it's convenient, Mr. Payne.
The power outage knocked out both the lights and the speakers.
Oh, there was a blackout there, was there? Well, now, that explains everything. Does it not? No, it really doesn't.
What do you mean, your benevolence? Please share your thoughts with us, if you would.
The blackout occurred when the accused and the victim were faced with one another. Fearing the victim would flee under the cover of darkness, the accused swiftly brought his weapon down on the victim's head.
I see. That makes perfect sense, your benevolence.
So the victim was struck after the lights went out. The depth of your insight is awe-inspiring, your benevolence. Give her a hand, everyone!
Well done! Long may you live and prosper! Hey, I want to live long and prosper too!
Enough applause. You flatter me.
And now, your benevolence, in light of this new information.
Yes, of course. I will alter my insight. So what's the change now? With the one can safely assume the accused struck the victim the moment after the blackout began. But I see a different problem with this now. Oh, we're changing more than one? Okay, the Song of Ceremony the victim heard was of a practice run through the temple speakers. Here's our problem. So much for my inconsistency. At least I was able to draw out some new info. And with new info comes a chance to find new inconsistencies. Now to compare the insights with the vision again and see what else I can dig up. Alright, I think we know exactly what we're going for here. If we're looking for a statement, the Song of Ceremony of the Victimhood was of a practice run for the temple speakers. But... Song of Ceremony. Maybe I've got to present to that, actually. Let's pause. Because he was still hearing this, the Song of Ceremony, after the blackout. So that would be the inconsistency. The blackouts happened, he's been struck. But the Song of Ceremony is still playing. If the blackout happened, sound would have instantly cut. So, you know, you even made a point to say that the speakers cut out. So what are we going to? One can safely assume the accused struck the victim the moment after the blackout began. The Song of Ceremony the victim heard was of a practice run for the temple speakers. Well, now... This statement's obviously pertinent, incredibly pertinent. But, you know, also the fact that you can now say, well, the victim didn't even see the attacker anymore. I mean, you could, there's assumption there, but there's no definitive proof that Albie actually struck him. The other thing is, just simply like the third statement, the Song of Ceremony, the victim was a practice run for the temple speakers, now becomes impossible because the temple speakers were not running at this point in time. So is it simply that, or is it something else? This is where this new Divination Seance thing gets really complex versus just presenting evidence from a court record.
Objection!
Yes, I finally found it. This is the gaping hole I've been looking for. Okay, we got the right statement with the right stimuli. Your benevolence, as impressive as your spirit communion power is, it's not infallible. You never know when to stop talking, do you? I hope you realize your words are an insult to all adherents of Khura'inism.
An offense? Watch what you say. If you don't mind that tongue of yours, you won't have one left to mind.
It's certainly not my intention to insult spirit mediums. But maybe I'm not the one who needs to learn when to stop talking. What malarkey? I believe you said a few moments ago that the victim could hear the Song of Ceremony thanks to the temple's speakers. But then, how would you explain how the victim could still hear the Song of Ceremony even after the power went out? Oh! This contradiction of facts can only mean that the Song of Ceremony Mr. Roll heard was not coming from the speakers.
What? Impossible.
What are you saying? And the song he heard was coming directly from the performance hall?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's the only possible explanation.
The scene of the crime was nowhere near the performance hall.
Right. The song couldn't make it all the way to the treasure room. Not unless... You mean to say? Yes, the treasure room was not the actual scene of the crime. It must have been somewhere else. Somewhere closer to the performance hall.
What?
You can't be serious.
There is a glaring contradiction in the claims of her benevolence and the prosecution. Therefore, the defense insists that this case be thoroughly re-examined. What? No!
This is completely unprecedented. An inconsistency in her benevolence's insight? Unbelievable.
Heed not his forked tongue, your magistrate. These are but the claims of a corrupt lawyer, a feeble ruse from a feeble mind.
But the contradiction revealed by the defense is undeniable. We can't just turn a blind eye to it.
But the defense's assertion is, in the end, meaningless. Even if the location of the murder turned out to be different, it doesn't change what we've seen at the moment of the murder.
Indeed, the accused is standing right there in front of the victim. Furthermore, the murder weapon remains raised above his head. My insights still stand. I hate to admit it, but she's right. The seance vision still makes the situation look really grim for Albie.
I doubt even the defense can dream up an explanation as to why. The accused had his hands up over his head.
Well, this defense dares to dream of making out this nightmare alive.
You what? You still insist on trying to tear down my insights, do you? You'd better be prepared to back up your claim. Remember what will happen to that tongue of yours if we find you were just wagging it.
Of course, I can back up my claim, just as soon as I think of something.
You appear to be fully prepared, defense. As the embodiment of this court, I give you permission to try and improve your claim. As long as you're willing to stake your life on it.
I concur, your majesty. Prepare the tongue shears. Chop chop.
Chop chop.
Yes, let's have the bailiff fetch them. I think I saw a suitable pair in the basement. Chop chop.
Stop. Stop.
I hear that lying lawyers have several tongues to spare. I'm sure he won't miss one.
Yikes, these people are actually serious. I'm rather attached to my tongue. Think, Phoenix, think. Other than to raise a weapon, why would Albie have held his hands up like that? Okay, so in defense, as a gesture of contrition. Aha, so that's why. The reason the defendant had his hands up over his head can be explained by something in the crime photo. What explains why Albie had his hands raised above his head? So we're talking... Take that! As in the Saint's vision, I witnessed the defendant raise both of his hands over his head yesterday.
You did? Where did you see such a thing?
When the police had their guns trained on him as they made their arrest.
Oh, are you saying...
The victim was a security guard, and an armed one at that. The defense proposes that the victim had pointed his firearm at Albie. And that's why the defendant's hands were raised in the air. Palunka! Or Polkunka, even. I actually didn't fall in the pool.
Who would have thought the seance vision could be interpreted that way?
This is not possible. It can't be. Not bad for a total knockout. How dare that lawyer devil go against her benevolence? He's no better than that traitorous snake Dirk. Traitorous snake? Dirk? Who's that?
No, I can't believe it. A contradiction in one of my insights. There has to be some kind of mistake. I won't accept it. That's right, your benevolence, and I won't accept it either. It goes against all we hold sacred. Throw him in jail immediately for lessing majesty.
What? Yeah, what? Yeah, you said it. Throw him in jail. Yes, make him pay for the way he disrespected her benevolence. These people are definitely not my fans right now. That's right, exterminate him! Okay, hostile.
Peace, give me peace. I said peace! Now everyone, please calm down.
Is he... Your Majesty, please assign this black-hearted attorney a suitable punishment.
No, I can't charge him with lese majesty.
What? What? But why not, your Majesty?
He was simply following the proper procedure for defending the accused. There's nothing unlawful about that.
But, your Majesty, don't you want to wrap this trial up quickly? Why not just give your verdict? Then you can go home and make it up to your wife.
We can't end the trial now. Not when we just learn new information about the case.
What? Your Majesty, not you too. You would honestly entertain the idea that my insight contains a contradiction?
Truly, it is shocking. In the 20+ years since the DC Act went into effect, such a thing has never occurred. To be honest, I didn't want to believe it either. But with his life on the line, the defense pointed out an inconsistency. And it is our duty to scrutinize it to the satisfaction of the law.
You dare go against the royal priestess? You non-believer?
And no, my faith is as strong as ever. but I have a duty to make a fair ruling in this trial. If you insist on interfering with that process, your benevolence, I'm afraid I must request your removal from this courtroom, royal priestess or not.
What? I'll have you know...
Your benevolence! Please acquiesce in this. Your benevolence.
If looks could kill. I won't forget this offense, barbed head. I do not admit defeat. I won't.
Bailiff, please see your benevolence out.
Your Mitama will face due retribution in the Twilight Realm. The demons there will... They'll pluck the barbs right off your stupid head. I hope your suffering will be super duper painful. And I hope they throw you into a lake of burning fire. Yeah, and then... Childish. I guess she's still just a teenager after all.
Now then, defense. Mr. Light, was it?
That's right, Your Majesty. Phoenix Wright.
Of course, Mr. Wright. My apologies. Well, now that we have this newly uncovered fact, I suggest we proceed with arguments.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Yes. But do not misunderstand me. This doesn't mean I trust you completely. I'll be keeping a close eye on you, so don't even think about lying to this court.
I understand, Your Majesty. Phew. Maybe now we can finally run a real trial.
Arguments, Your Majesty. Very well, I accept your challenge.
Huh? What's with him?
Oh, the look on your face, Mr. Wright. It's just... it's just too hilarious.
What's so funny, Mr. Payne?
The defense still doesn't get it. The truth, he unearthed, is going to bury him and his case instead.
What do you mean by that, prosecutor?
I told you, it's Chief Prosecutor.
Yes, because that's the point to focus on right now.
The defense is digging its own grave. Consider this, Your Majesty. Why would the victim, as security guard, point a gun at the accused? Oh, indeed. Because the accused was about to commit a theft. It's the only logical explanation.
What? That does sound pretty logical, actually.
It doesn't help the accused situation at all. If anything, it makes him look even more guilty.
Yes, I have to agree.
Allow me spell out this truth the defense didn't bother to think through. Mr. Roll came across the accused just as he was trying to steal the treasure. The guard pointed his gun at the accused and, just when the power went out, the accused murdered the victim and hid his body in the treasure room.
Small kid, big man.
A hand truck for moving heavy treasure around is stored in the treasure room.
Damn.
The accused could have easily moved the body with that.
And after all that hard work to knock down those insights. Back into the old familiar corner once more.
Mr. Wright, do you have a rebuttal?
I'm drawing a total blank here.
I hope you're ready to climb that scaffold.
I asked you a question, defense.
I've got nothing. I can't think of any grounds for an objection. The only thing to do at this point is ask the defendant himself what happened. But I don't know if Albie will cooperate with me or not. Albie? Will you tell us what really happened?
You don't have to say anything, accused. I'll fall for his evil trap and you'll only dirty your own soul.
Albie, you have to tell me the truth. I can't help you unless you do.
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry.
Why? Why won't he trust me? Why indeed? It really makes you wonder what happened to the 20 years worth of defense lawyers that actually tried to do this. Who is this Durka as well? Very interesting name. Because there must have been still some around until they were all whittled down, or quit, one by one. With the insights defeated, we now have to move to arguments. Arguments themselves do not look good for us at the moment. We need Albie to speak. Will he speak next episode of Phoenix Wright, Spirit of Justice? We'll see you then. I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.